First contact and discovery. The deep silence of space enveloped the Galactic Federation exploration vessel Stellaris as it glided through the uncharted regions of the Orion Spur. Captain Zilith stood motionless on the command deck, her translucent skin shimmering under the soft blue lights. 6 sensory appendages extended from her elongated head, each one twitching slightly as they processed the ship's environmental data. "Captain, we're detecting an anomalous energy signature at coordinates 227 to 3894, reported Science Officer Threll, his 4 arms working simultaneously across multiple holographic displays. "It's massive. And it's moving." Zilith's bioluminescent markings pulsed with caution. In 3 centuries of Federation exploration, the Stellaris had documented thousands of spatial phenomena, but this reading defied classification. "On screen," she commanded. The main view screen flickered, and the bridge crew fell silent. Emerging from behind a small moon was a vessel of staggering proportions. Its hull featured sharp angles and geometric patterns unlike the flowing, organic designs of Federation ships. Most concerning were the numerous protrusions that even an untrained eye could recognize as weapon systems. "Size comparison?" Zilith asked, her voice steady despite her mounting concern. "The vessel measures approximately 1.7 kilometers in length," Threll replied, rechecking his readings in disbelief. "Our Stellaris would fit inside its launch bay." The Federation considered the Stellaris, at 0.4 kilometers, to be a large exploration vessel. This unknown ship dwarfed anything in their records. "Scan the vessel," Zilith ordered. Seconds passed as the scanning beams attempted to penetrate the unknown ship's defenses. "Our scans are being reflected," Threll announced, his voice tinged with both frustration and fascination. "Whatever material comprises their hull, it's blocking our most advanced scanning technology." "They're changing course," warned Navigation Officer Iclea, "moving directly toward us." Zilith straightened her posture. "Initiate first contact protocols. Open communications on all standard frequencies. Transmitting greetings in all known languages." Communications Specialist Vorith confirmed, her tentacled fingers dancing across the console. Minutes passed, the massive ship growing larger on their view screen. Now they could discern details, scorch marks along its hull suggesting previous battles, what appeared to be recently repaired sections, and weapon emplacements in active standby mode. "Captain," Vorith suddenly announced, "we're receiving a response." The main view screen changed, displaying strange symbols flowing across it. Unlike any language in their translation matrix, the bridge crew worked frantically to decode the incoming data. "It appears to be a sophisticated encryption method," explained Vorith. "The structure suggests a binary-based language, but the complexity is remarkable." After 20 tense minutes, the symbols transformed into recognizable text. Moments later, the screen changed again, this time showing an image that caused every member of the bridge crew to freeze. The being on the screen looked vaguely similar to several known bipedal species, but distinctly different. It had only 2 eyes set forward in a flat face, no protective outer carapace, and lacked the enhanced sensory appendages common throughout the galaxy. Most striking was its confident posture, relaxed yet alert, suggesting a predatory evolutionary path. "Audio connection established," Vorith reported. "Translation matrix at 84% compatibility." The being spoke, its voice firm but not threatening. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Alliance Warship Defender. We have detected your scanning attempts. We mean no harm but request immediate identification." Zilith stepped forward. "I am Captain Zilith of the Galactic Federation vessel Stellaris. We welcome peaceful contact with new species, the human, as they would soon learn this species called themselves," nodded slightly. "On behalf of the United Earth Alliance, I extend peaceful greetings, Captain Zilith. We've been exploring this sector for several months." This statement sent ripples of concern through the bridge crew. This sector had been under Federation observation for decades. How had they missed an entire spacefaring civilization with ships of this magnitude? "We are not familiar with the United Earth Alliance," Xylith said carefully. "Your ship design is unique." Admiral Chen's expression remained neutral. "We've maintained a policy of non-interference with developing civilizations. This is our first official contact beyond our neighboring systems." As they spoke, the Stellaris sensors continued attempting to analyze the human vessel. What they discovered was increasingly concerning. The ship's power readings suggested energy capabilities far beyond Federation technology. What appeared to be weapon systems remained inactive but ready. And there were many of them. "Your propulsion systems are unlike anything in our records," Xylith noted, trying to maintain diplomatic protocol while gathering information. Admiral Chen smiled slightly, the expression somehow conveying both friendliness and confidence. "One of our older models, actually." The implication was clear and disturbing. If this was their older model, what else did these humans possess? "We would welcome the opportunity for cultural exchange," Xylith offered. "The Galactic Federation embraces peaceful contact with all sentient species." "Agreed," Admiral Chen replied. "We have much to learn from each other. With your permission, I would like to bring a small diplomatic team aboard your vessel." As arrangements were made for formal diplomatic meetings, Xylith returned to the sensor display. The more they learned about the Defender, the more questions arose. Its hull contained alloys unknown to Federation science. Its energy emissions suggested propulsion theories the Federation had considered impossible. Most concerning were the battle scars visible on the human vessel, patterns of damage that suggested conflicts far more intense than the occasional pirate skirmishes known in Federation space. These humans had clearly fought wars, serious ones, and survived. The meeting chamber aboard the Stellaris gleamed under soft ambient lighting. Curved walls displayed moving images of Federation homeworlds, while the air carried light scents designed to calm the nervous systems of most known species. Everything had been arranged for perfect diplomatic comfort. The Federation delegation waited anxiously. Ambassador Lyric stood at the center, her ceremonial robes shifting colors to reflect her diplomatic rank. Behind her, 6 other Federation officials formed a traditional greeting arc. The door slid open. Admiral Chen entered first, walking with purpose, her movements more rapid and direct than the flowing grace typical of Federation species. 5 other humans followed, and Ambassador Lyrics noticed immediately that something was wrong. The humans weren't wearing the flowing diplomatic garments typical of first contact ceremonies. Instead, they wore fitted uniforms with what appeared to be reinforced sections in vital areas. Most concerning, each human carried what was clearly a weapon attached to their hip. "Welcome aboard the Stellaris," Lyric said, her voice musical despite her concern. "We are honored by your presence." Admiral Chen bowed slightly. "The honor is ours. The United Earth Alliance values this opportunity for peaceful exchange." The words were diplomatic, but the weapons remained. Lyrix's skin shifted toward orange, a sign of distress noticed by the other Federation representatives. "Is weaponry necessary for diplomacy?" Lyrix asked, trying to keep accusation from her voice. A male human stepped forward. "Commander Jackson, first officer of the Defender." He introduced himself. "The sidearms are ceremonial, a cultural tradition dating back centuries. No disrespect intended." Lyrix hesitated. Every spacefaring species knew that weapons at diplomatic meetings signaled distrust or threat. Yet these humans seemed genuinely unbothered by their breach of galactic protocol. "Perhaps we could begin with a cultural exchange," Lyrix suggested, gesturing toward the conference table. They sat together, humans on one side, Federation representatives on the other. Initial formalities were exchanged before Lyrix invited the humans to share more about their civilization. "Earth united politically about 250 years ago," Admiral Chen explained. "We achieved faster than light travel shortly after. Our exploration has been cautious." 250 years? Asked Science Officer Threll, his skin shifting to a surprise blue. "That's remarkably rapid development." "Necessity," Commander Jackson said simply. "Our history forced quick adaptation. Something in his tone made the Federation representatives uneasy. The humans were choosing their words carefully. You mentioned exploration. Lyrics noted. The Defender seems designed for more than exploration. Our vessel serves multiple functions. Admiral Chen acknowledged. Defense is one of them. Defense against what? Asked Security Chief Morax. This sector has been peaceful for generations. The humans exchanged glances. Admiral Chen seemed to make a decision. Humanity has encountered hostile forces during our expansion, she said plainly. We learned to be prepared. More questions followed, and with each answer, the Federation representatives grew increasingly concerned. The humans described conflicts with species unknown to the Federation. They spoke of battles that would have devastated entire star systems. The Defender is merely a patrol vessel, Admiral Chen mentioned casually during a discussion of interstellar routes. Our main fleet operates in the Rigel sector. The statement landed like a heavy stone. A patrol vessel. The massive warship that dwarfed the Stellaris was considered minor in their fleet. Would you permit our science team to study your technology? Threll asked, attempting to sound casual. Limited access would be possible. Admiral Chen agreed. Similarly, we'd appreciate learning about Federation advances. As the meeting progressed, the humans shared details about Earth. A heavy gravity world circling a radiation-heavy star. Their biology had evolved under conditions that would kill most Federation species within days. Our medical officer would be interested in your physiological adaptations, Admiral Chen said. Your cellular regeneration is remarkable. As is your muscular density, Threll replied, reviewing his scans. Your species appears to have environmental resilience beyond any Federation race. The conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm. Both human and Federation communicators activated simultaneously. Admiral Chen, came an urgent voice from her device. We're detecting multiple unknown vessels entering the system at high velocity. Energy signatures suggest weapons hot. At the same moment, Captain Zilith's voice came through the Federation communicators. Ambassador, we have an emergency situation. 7 Kracken warships have just emerged from hyperspace. They're heading directly for us. The humans exchanged quick glances, their postures instantly shifting from diplomatic to combat-ready. Kracken. Commander Jackson asked sharply. A hostile species from the outer systems, Security Chief Morax explained, his skin paling. They raid developing worlds for resources and slaves. We haven't seen them in this sector for decades. Admiral Chen's face hardened. Captain Zilith, this is Admiral Chen. How long until the Kracken vessels reach our position? Zilith's voice was tense. Approximately 12 minutes at current speed. The Stellaris is not a combat vessel, Lyric said, her voice trembling. Our defenses are minimal. Admiral Chen stood, her hand moving to the communication device on her wrist. Defender, this is Chen. Battle stations. All personnel to combat positions. Prepare to defend the Federation vessel. She turned to the Federation representatives, her expression now completely transformed. Gone was the diplomatic politeness, replaced by the unmistakable look of a predator preparing for combat. Ambassador Lyrics, I suggest you and your people remain aboard the Stellaris. We'll handle the Kracken. Admiral, Lyric said hesitantly, the Kracken fleet outnumbers us 7-2, even with your vessel's capabilities. Admiral Chen's smile was cold and confident. 7 ships isn't a fleet, Ambassador. It's target practice. Alliance in crisis. The bridge of the Defender erupted into controlled chaos as Admiral Helena Chen strode through the doors. Crew members moved with practiced precision, their movements economical and focused. Red combat lighting bathed everything in a crimson glow. Status, Chen demanded, taking her position at the command center. 7 Kracken vessels approaching at attack velocity, reported Tactical Officer Rodriguez. Configuration matches known raider patterns. 3 heavy cruisers, 4 support vessels, weapons signatures active on all ships. The main view screen displayed the approaching threat. angular vessels with spiked projections and pulsing energy signatures. Beside them, the Federation ship Stellaris looked fragile and exposed. "They've targeted the Stellaris," Commander Jackson noted, reviewing the tactical display. "They'd probably view it as the easier prize." Admiral Chen's eyes narrowed. "Open a channel to the Kracken lead vessel." The communications officer worked her console. "Channel open, Admiral." Chen stood tall, her voice radiating authority. "Kracken vessels, this is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Alliance Warship Defender. You are approaching Federation space without authorization. Power down your weapons and change course immediately." The view screen flickered, revealing a reptilian humanoid with scaled skin and vertical pupils. Bony ridges extended from its skull, and its mouth contained rows of serrated teeth. "Federation weaklings," the Kracken commander hissed, its voice translated through the ship's systems. "You have no authority here. Your exploration vessel will be taken. The new ship beside you will be examined and then destroyed. Surrender or be annihilated." Chen's expression didn't change. "I'll give you one opportunity to reconsider. The United Earth Alliance does not respond well to threats." The Kracken commander's laugh was a harsh, grating sound. "Your vessel is isolated and outnumbered. You have 5 minutes to power down systems and prepare for boarding." The communication ended. Chen turned to her bridge crew. "Combat assessment." Tactical Officer Rodriguez displayed the Kracken fleet specifications on the main screen. "Their technology is approximately equivalent to mid-21st century Earth weapons development. Energy shields, plasma-based weapons. Nothing we haven't handled before." "The Stellaris is hailing us," reported Communications Officer Park. On screen, Chen ordered. Captain Zillith appeared, her luminescent skin pulsing with what the humans now recognized as extreme distress. "Admiral Chen, the Kracken have demanded our surrender. Our weapon systems are defensive only. We cannot withstand a direct assault from their fleet." Chen nodded. "Captain Zillith, move your vessel behind the Defender. We'll provide cover." "You intend to engage all 7 vessels?" Zillith asked, her voice betraying disbelief. "That's affirmative, Captain," Chen replied calmly. "This isn't our first encounter with hostile forces. Please move to the designated coordinates and maintain your position." As the communication ended, Commander Jackson moved closer to Chen. "We're revealing military capabilities we've kept hidden from the Federation," he said quietly. "Can't be helped," Chen replied. "Besides, I think it's time our new friends understood exactly who they're dealing with." On the Stellaris, the Federation crew watched in a mixture of fascination and horror as the human vessel positioned itself between them and the approaching Kracken fleet. Ambassador Lyric stood on the bridge beside Captain Zillith, her ceremonial robes now replaced with standard ship attire. "They cannot possibly hope to defeat 7 Kracken warships," Lyric said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's suicide." Science Officer Threll studied his readings. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy patterns from the human vessel. They appear to be activating systems that were dormant during our initial scans." On the view screen, the Defender seemed to transform. Panels along its hull slid open, revealing weapon systems far more extensive than initially apparent. A faint blue field shimmered into existence around the massive vessel, an energy shield of some kind, but unlike any Federation technology. "What are they doing?" Zillith asked, watching as the human vessel advanced toward the Kracken fleet rather than retreating. The Kracken vessels formed a standard attack pattern, spreading out to surround their targets. The 3 cruisers moved to the front, charging their main weapons. "The Kracken are firing," announced the Stellaris tactical officer. Brilliant beams of energy lanced from the Kracken cruisers, striking the Defender's blue shield. The Federation crew expected to see the human vessel crippled or destroyed. Instead, the energy weapons seemed to dissipate harmlessly against the shield. "Impossible," breathed Threll, checking his readings again. Their defensive field completely absorbed the energy attack. No damage registered. Now it was the Defender's turn to respond. Smaller weapons ports along its hull activated, firing precision beams that struck the lead Kracken vessel's engines. The cruiser's propulsion systems failed immediately, leaving it drifting. Targeting systems far beyond Kracken capabilities, noted Security Chief Morax with professional admiration. They disabled the engines without destroying the vessel. The remaining Kracken ships adjusted their formation, concentrating fire on the human vessel. Again, the blue shield absorbed the assault without visible strain. "The humans are hailing us," reported Communications Officer Vorith. Admiral Chen's face appeared on screen, looking remarkably calm despite being in the middle of battle. "Captain Zilith, we're going to create an opening. When we do, I need you to move your vessel to coordinates we're transmitting now. Can you comply?" Zilith hesitated only briefly. "Yes, Admiral. We'll follow your lead." What happened next left the Federation crew speechless. The Defender accelerated toward the Kracken formation, its massive bulk moving with unexpected agility. Multiple weapon systems fired simultaneously, precisely targeting propulsion and weapon systems on each Kracken vessel. 3 of the smaller Kracken ships lost power almost immediately. A 4th spun out of control as its stabilizers failed. The 2 remaining cruisers attempted to regroup, but the Defender executed a maneuver that should have been impossible for a vessel of its size, positioning itself directly between them. "Now, Captain Zilith," came Chen's voice over the communication system, "move to the designated coordinates." The Stellaris glided through the opening created by the human vessel, safely positioning itself away from the conflict. From their new vantage point, the Federation crew watched as the Defender systematically disabled the remaining Kracken vessels. Within minutes, all 7 Kracken ships were drifting, their primary systems offline. Not a single vessel had been destroyed, merely neutralized with surgical precision. They could have annihilated the entire Kracken fleet, Morax observed quietly. Instead, they chose to disable them. Why? Ambassador Lyrix's expression was solemn. "I believe we're witnessing a demonstration, not just of power, but of restraint." The Defender approached the lead Kracken vessel. A communication was established, visible on the Stellaris view screen. "Kracken Commander," Admiral Chen's voice was cold. "Your vessels have been disabled. Your weapons and propulsion systems are offline. We could destroy you where you drift, but that's not our way." The Kracken commander's reptilian features contorted with rage. "Finish it, then. We do not beg." "We're not interested in your destruction," Chen replied. "We're transmitting coordinates to a nearby uninhabited system with sufficient resources for repairs. Federation representatives will meet you there to discuss terms for your future conduct in this sector." The communication ended. The Defender turned gracefully, moving back toward the Stellaris. "They're hailing us again," Vorith reported. Admiral Chen appeared on screen, now looking slightly more relaxed. "Captain Zilith, the threat has been neutralized. The Kracken won't be bothering anyone in this sector for some time." Zilith struggled to find appropriate words. "Admiral Chen." That was, "We've never witnessed such combat capabilities." Chen nodded. "Perhaps we should continue our diplomatic discussions. I believe there's much more for our peoples to learn about each other." Hours later, aboard the Stellaris, Federation and human representatives gathered once more in the conference room. The atmosphere had changed dramatically. Where before there had been cautious diplomacy, now there was a mixture of respect and wary admiration. "The Kracken have been a persistent threat to developing worlds in 3 sectors," Ambassador Lyrix explained. "Our defensive capabilities have always been limited. We focus on diplomacy and cultural exchange, not warfare." Admiral Chen nodded. "Different evolutionary paths lead to different priorities. Humanity evolved on a world that challenged us at every turn. Predators, natural disasters, resource scarcity. Survival wasn't guaranteed. It shaped our development, our technology, and our perspective. Yet despite these combat capabilities, you seek peaceful contact," Lyrix observed. "Precisely because of our history," Commander Jackson explained. We know the cost of conflict all too well. Our technology developed through necessity, but our goal has always been to create a lasting peace. Science Officer Thrall reviewed data from the recent encounter. Your weapons systems could have destroyed the Kracken fleet entirely. Why choose to disable them instead? Destruction is easy, Chen replied simply. Restraint is harder, but it leaves room for change. The Kracken might one day become allies rather than enemies. The implications of the human presence in the galaxy were not lost on the Federation representatives. A species with advanced military technology, evolved in harsh conditions that made them naturally resilient, yet guided by principles that valued restraint and diplomacy. I believe, Ambassador Lyric said carefully, that this encounter marks the beginning of a significant alliance. The Federation offers knowledge, cultural diversity, and diplomatic connections spanning thousands of worlds. Humanity brings protection, among other qualities. Admiral Chen smiled. A mutual exchange of strengths. That's the foundation of any good partnership. As the meeting continued, plans were made for formal diplomatic relations between the United Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation. Science and cultural exchanges would be established. Joint exploration missions would map unknown regions of space. But beneath the diplomatic language and careful planning, a fundamental shift had occurred. The Federation, for all its age and wisdom, had encountered something entirely new. A young species that had fought its way to the stars, carrying with them both the fierce determination of their harsh evolution and the compassion born from overcoming their own violent history. As Ambassador Lyrics later recorded in her official report to the Federation Council, in the humans, we have found not just allies, but perhaps the missing element in our galactic community. Their unique combination of strength and restraint, of advanced military capability, guided by a deep desire for peace, offers new possibilities for the future of all our worlds. The galaxy as we know it will never be the same. On the Defender's Bridge, Admiral Chen looked out at the stars, contemplating the new alliance. Humanity had finally found its place in the wider galaxy, not as conquerors, not as the conquered, but as protectors. Set course for Earth, she ordered. We have good news to share. The massive warship turned gracefully, its engines glowing with energy no Federation scientist yet understood, carrying within it the promise of a new era for both humanity and the galaxy they were only beginning to explore.